Morning out there. Let's make sure we're operating properly. There we go. Why are you doing that? Sorry, that needs to go away. Okay. And this needs to come up. We'll move that there. Make that big. Click on that. Click on that. Click on that. I'll make sure that audio is reasonable. And make sure we're running good. Make sure there we are. All right. Good morning. Oh, I gotta start this right. Good morning. Welcome to Coffee and Resales. My name's Ryan. I get stuff from yard sales, garage sales, thrift stores, similar places, and try to make a few extra bucks online. So far, I've had a good winter. I want to say I've had 3 straight months, and this will be 4, where I have netted over $500 cash in my pocket, pure profit after all things. This isn't like gross sales or anything like that. This is money in my pocket. And I think I've netted that much over that much each month. So that's like $2,000. I've done better than $2,000 in sales. Particularly when you add Facebook Marketplace sales, when I've been flipping stuff on there, and I've had a handful of sales there. So that's been really good. I'm actually doing a little more concentrating on doing some Facebook Marketplace stuff. And I may explain that strategy. I'll explain that strategy a little bit as we go along. Wait, can I change my title? Or I may. No, I don't see what I can do. I may talk about that in my next stream. I may talk about that later today. Anyway. Edit. That says edit. Let's talk about books and how I sell on this Facebook how I sell on Facebook. We'll do that. Save that. We're going to change that, and I'll talk about that later. All right. Anyway, jumping into sales. What is it? 9 sales. I actually had one click right before I started the live stream. Had another one click this morning. So 9 sales on eBay over the weekend. And we'll jump in. Nothing huge. All bread and butter stuff. Everything's under $25. So, but I think everything's more or less profitable. We'll talk about that for a second too. So first up is I had a big score demo of sliding shorts for baseball, softball sliding shorts at a local Goodwill, Last Chance Goodwill, 50 cents a piece for these. And these sold for 10 and selling these pretty steadily for $10 a pair shipped. And one guy last week bought like 6 pair, which ran that profit up through the roof. So actually, I think I'm actually in the black on those after only selling like, I don't know that I've sold 20 pair, but that's how much of a markup I was able to do on those things. So I'm selling them, and I'm making $4 to $5 a pair after shipping. And if somebody buys in bulk, it's higher than that. So that's been a real good purchase, and I've got a Rubbermaid tub full of things left to go. So I'm real curious once baseball and softball season starts warming up, if I'll be selling more and more of these things. So that'll be interesting. And I've actually got a few more I may list. I listed all the, I got 20 of the smalls. I got 15 of those. So I listed 15. But I've got the ones that are ones and twos and that sort of stuff, and I may have to list those separately. All right, next up, $9, $10, $10. Okay, $10. Bought this on a whim, and I think it was a reasonable buy. This is National Safety Truck System Frequency and Talk Group Guide. This is like ham radio stuff from Radio Shack. And I don't know, I don't even know where I got this from. It was in some, and I grabbed it up, and I was like, I'll throw that on there. It has Radio Shack on it, which actually still exists for some reason. And flip this for $9. Ham radio stuff still sells. Citizens, it's not Citizens. Actually, CB stuff still sells too. But it's getting harder and harder to find. Ham radio guys particularly know what they have and what its value is, and that market is actually still kind of strong. The trick is finding the people to sell the stuff to, and I've come across some ham radio stuff before and sold it. So they're still out there, and you can move the stuff. You just you may, and it'll go on eBay. But you actually, if you find some ham radio stuff, you actually may be able to flip it even locally if you find the right people on Facebook Marketplace. It's actually one of the weird things where I think the equipment tends to stay in the community. In the sense, like if somebody dies or something like that, a buddy will get the equipment rather than it necessarily kind of hitting the marketplace, which is one reason why I think it's a little rare. All right, next up is a sneeze. All right, next up. Thought this would garner a little bit more. Excuse me. 1974 Harris Freedom Stamp album. There were stamps, I think, that came with this, or if it had stamps in it, these things are way more valuable. As is, this was a $9 sale. Took a gander on it. Stamp collecting stuff still does okay. I've had pretty good success. Even older, just catalogs still have a little bit of value. It's one of those things you pay $1 for because it may only be worth 10 or 15 bucks. But a lot of them are worth grabbing. There was somebody donated a bunch of stamp books, did just like catalogs and stuff, or guidebooks or price guides or something one time. And I picked to Goodwill, and I picked up a handful, and most of them, I think actually all of them sold. I don't know that any of them were super expensive. I think they were all under 20 bucks. But when you pick them up for $1 and sell for 15, that's profit. Okay, finally, kind of thought these would do a little bit better. I say finally on my $10 stuff. These went for $10. Building fluency through Reader's Theater script books, sort of history books with sort of the script that kids can follow and take parts in. A stack of these sold for $10. Oh well. And actually, and I'll say these are profitable, but only in the sense that right now, like everything's paid for. So any sale that goes above shipping and eBay fees is technically profit. So that's why sometimes I don't mind selling $9 and $10 stuff. That kind of gives me money back of what I paid for something, because the profit, I made money on other stuff. So, and I'm with everything I'm selling, I'm in the black. So selling something like that, and I kind of need to get. I don't have top rated right now because one aggravating thing can when I don't sell quite enough to where I've got one or two bad hits or something, and it's just enough to bring my numbers down where I don't get top rated. I have to get a bunch of sales to bring that average back up. So stuff like that, if I can get it out in time, it's good. Okay, next up. Let's see. Let me just kind of go over everything now. The Two Towers, Lord of the Rings, 1970s editions. This went for $16. I've never failed to sell one of the 1970s books. I grab them for if they're under $2. Uh, I typically grab every Lord of the Rings I see because I've got pretty good success selling them either in lots or for the older books, 80s and earlier, individually do really well. So I've always been able to sell the old versions. It doesn't matter what printing it is. That one for 16. Grab the if you find Lord of the Rings books for $1 a piece or less, and the new ones in good shape, old ones in almost any condition, with good binding and decent covers, they're money. Now that, to be fair, that one has been sitting a while, a little bit longer than I'd prefer, but it did sell. Next up is yet another hymnal for worship and celebration. This is there's two different versions of these. There's one that has like NIV, New American Standard Bible verse references, and there's one that's only King James only Bible verse references. This is one of the King James. This sold really quick for $15. So make sure you label that when you're selling these, because there are people who much prefer this to King James. But I have a box full of these, sold all of them. I think got one more laying around here somewhere because I didn't add it to the number. Actually got planned on getting like another handful. But these consistent $15 to $20 sellers depending on condition. Next up, Akira, is this Making of the White Man. History, tradition, and teaching of Elijah Muhammad. I think this has something to do with the Hebrew Roots movement. No, not Hebrew Roots. Black Hebrew Israelite. And if you know what that is, I'm sorry. So sort of a culty-ish movement. But dude paid $20 for the book. And it's in real good shape. Pick this up Friday, maybe even earlier. It's a little rare. I wonder if I didn't underprice it a little bit, but it moved quick too. But it wasn't like moved within hours. It did move within a couple of days. If you get something and it moves within hours, you probably underpriced it significantly. If it takes a couple days, I would say under a week, you probably did the right price on it. That's kind of my impression on stuff that moves quick. Is hours, you hit it too low. But a couple days, you probably did all right. Next up, this one sat longer than I thought it would too. Akira Volume 6. This is a hardcover manga from Dark Horse from 2002. $22. So if you haven't watched Akira and you're nerd into manga, into anime, you should. It's probably one of the most important, if not the most important anime ever created. It's good. It's fantastic art. Good story. But this is volume 6 of the manga. So there's that. And finally, WrestleMania 30 years of WrestleMania hardcover, still in the plastic. This went for $24. WWE wrestling books, always worth looking up. A lot of the biographies don't do great unless they're autographed. But some of the biographies are still good reads. But some of these books, particularly if they're WrestleMania exclusives that you can only get at the show, are real good buys. I don't know if this specifically was, but this is a neat find. I actually sold something similar a few months ago as well. And so that's my sales for today, for this weekend. Facebook Marketplace advice. What I typically do is first I take a sip of coffee. Selling on Facebook Marketplace. It's not just local. Facebook Marketplace is actually a real good place to sell sub $10 stuff in bulk. What I'll do is I'll take a stack of paperbacks, men's adventure paperbacks. I'll take homeschool level books. Like these, this is probably going to go on Facebook Marketplace. I've got a stack of these Mandy young adult books for older girls. I've got like 14 of them or something like that. I'm going to put those on Facebook Marketplace for probably $3 a piece. The thought being is that somebody may want to buy all of them, which is fine, or somebody just may need 4 of them, and they'll say, "I need this one, this one, this one, this one to fill the holes in my collection." Use PayPal and PayPal shipping to buy them and ship them, and I can come out. You can sell stuff for actually up to, I would say, as low as half of what Facebook Marketplace, of what eBay has. You can get something for on eBay and actually come out about the same. Even particularly if you're doing local cash. But what I do is you get in Facebook groups. Different. There's a lot. Just about every hobby has a buy sell group that you can join and flip stuff in. Now they're hard. Some of them are harder to operate in if you're not actually in that hobby. I do a lot of action figure and toy groups, a handful of diecast groups, and a lot of book collector groups, and some homeschool curriculum groups. And I do real well. And what I've been doing is I don't go insane in those groups. You post a few things at a time. With what I can handle, I kind of get, okay, I'll get this box and do like 5 things a week, throw them up, let them filter out and sell, and then pull them down. Like last week, I did a bundle of religious books. I've got a big box of religious books. They're worth $3 a piece, $2-3 a piece of that. Posted them, sold, had 4 or 5 sales. And then I'll put them away for a month, and I'll pull them out again in a month or two, and go through the product, retake pictures, and go through the process again. And it's a good way to kind of get rid of inexpensive stuff. There's people out there that collect stuff, but they won't pay. The men's pay more than a specific amount. Men's, I don't know, Westerns maybe, but I don't pick up a whole lot of Westerns unless I can get them for like a quarter a piece or less. But men's adventure, like Executioner, and a lot of those older 1970s paperbacks of the military and that sort of stuff. A lot of those guys, even unless it's something that's crazy rare, they're not paying more than $3 a book plus shipping, maybe. They're just not going to do it. And it keeps the prices of those things down. And even if the demand is a little up, they're not going to pay the premium. Maybe if they're filling a specific hole in their collection, they got like 2 left, maybe they'll do that. But they do actually tend to keep the prices low. That's why Louis L'Amour books and those related Westerns don't go crazy high. So nobody's going to pay. The guys who collect them aren't going to pay more than $3 a piece for those books. So something to think about when you're flipping things. And it's just another market, but to kind of move stuff in. So that's what I do. So anyway, if you found this content useful, if you disagree, if you agree, that's nice. Engage. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna take this, do that, and then I gotta get this stuff boxed. It's gotta go out. But mail's not running until tomorrow. Still gotta go out. So y'all be good.